Hello, everyone, and welcome to Practice English TV. I'm Mark, and we're really happy you're here with us today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Emma. Thanks for joining us, wherever you're listening from.
Today's episode is about something many of us try to improve: building healthy habits and making small positive changes in everyday life.
Yeah, things like walking more, drinking enough water, getting better sleep, eating balanced meals, or simply taking time to relax after a busy day.
We'll share some real experiences, small challenges, and the simple habits that gradually became part of our daily routines.
And if you've ever started a healthy habit, stopped for a while, and then tried to start again, you're definitely not alone.
And if you enjoy learning English with us, don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with another English learner.
Thank you so much for being here today. Let's begin and talk about healthy habits together.
So today we're talking about healthy habits. It's one of those topics that sounds simple, but when you think about it, everyone has a different experience with it.
That's true. Some people enjoy exercising every morning, while others just try to get through the day without feeling too tired.
Yeah, and I think many people imagine healthy habits as something big and difficult.
Exactly. They think about waking up at 5 in the morning, running 10 miles, and eating perfectly every day.
Honestly, that has never been me. I've always been more interested in small changes that I can actually maintain.
Same here. A few years ago, I kept making huge plans. Every Sunday, I would tell myself, this week is going to be different.
Oh, I know where this is going.
I would create a perfect schedule, exercise every day, no junk food, no late nights. Everything looked great on paper.
And then Monday happened.
Exactly. By Wednesday, half of those plans were already gone.
I think a lot of people can relate to that.
The problem wasn't that the habits were bad. The problem was that I was trying to change everything at once.
That's a really common mistake.
Eventually, I started focusing on one thing at a time.
What was the first habit you worked on?
Drinking more water.
That sounds simple.
It was simple, but I was surprised by how often I forgot. I would get busy with work and suddenly realize I hadn't had any water for hours.
I do that sometimes too. I'll be sitting at my desk completely focused on something, and then I realize I've barely moved all afternoon.
Exactly. So I started keeping a water bottle next to me.
Did it help?
A lot. It wasn't a dramatic change, but it made the habit easier.
Here's a situation that happens to me. I'll tell myself I'm going to take a walk after work.
That sounds reasonable.
It does, but then the day gets busy. Maybe I finish work later than expected. Maybe I'm tired. Suddenly, walking sounds less attractive than sitting on the couch.
That happens to me too.
The funny thing is that once I actually start walking, I almost always feel better.
That's the strange part. The hardest part is often just getting started.
Exactly.
Another habit I've been working on is reducing my phone time in the evening.
Oh, that's a difficult one.
Very difficult. Sometimes I pick up my phone to check one message.
And 30 minutes disappear.
Yes, somehow it always happens.
I think we've all been there.
One night, I looked at the clock and realized it was much later than I thought.
That's never a good feeling.
No, I had planned to sleep early, but instead I spent an hour looking at videos I didn't even remember the next day.
I've done that too. You keep scrolling because you're tired, but the scrolling actually makes you more tired.
Exactly.
For me, healthy habits became easier when I stopped thinking about being perfect.
That's such an important point.
If I miss a walk one day, that's okay. If I eat something unhealthy once in a while, that's okay too.
The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency.
Right. Small actions repeated many times can create big changes over time.
And that's what makes healthy habits interesting. They're usually built one small step at a time.
Exactly. And a lot of those small steps start with everyday choices that seem almost unimportant in the moment.
But when you look back after a few months, those little choices can make a surprisingly big difference.
You know what's interesting? Most healthy habits don't feel very exciting when you're doing them.
That's true. People often expect a big transformation, but real life usually doesn't work that way.
I remember when I decided to start walking more. At first, I thought I needed a complicated fitness plan.
That sounds familiar.
I spent more time planning than actually walking.
I think a lot of people do that.
One day I finally said, forget the perfect plan, I'm just going to walk around the neighborhood for 20 minutes.
And how did it go?
Honestly, it felt surprisingly good. Nothing dramatic happened. I wasn't suddenly healthier overnight, but I felt calmer when I got home.
Sometimes that's enough.
Exactly. Then I did it again the next day, and a few days later, it started feeling normal.
That's how many habits begin. They start small enough that you don't mind doing them.
What about you? Have you had a habit that took a while to stick?
Definitely. Sleep.
Really?
Yeah, for years I told myself I was going to sleep earlier.
And then?
Then I would find one more thing to do, one more email, one more video, one more episode of a show.
The classic just one more.
Exactly. The problem was that one more often became an extra hour.
I've been there.
One morning I woke up feeling exhausted. I had slept only a few hours and I could barely focus during the day.
That's the worst.
That evening, I decided to try something different. Instead of waiting until I felt sleepy, I set a reminder on my phone.
Like a bedtime reminder?
Yeah, a simple message that said, time to start winding down.
Did it help?
More than I expected. It didn't solve everything immediately, but it helped me create a routine.
That's a great example of a small change making a difference.
Here's another situation. Imagine you've had a really busy day at work.
Okay.
You come home tired. Your first thought is probably not, I should do something healthy.
Definitely not.
Maybe you want to sit on the couch and do absolutely nothing.
That sounds pretty nice, actually.
It does.
But sometimes even a small, healthy choice can help. Maybe you stretch for a few minutes. Maybe you take a short walk outside.
Or maybe you just put your phone away for a little while and enjoy some quiet time.
That's something I've been trying recently.
How's it going?
Not perfectly. Some evenings are easier than others.
That's realistic.
A few weeks ago, I started leaving my phone in another room while I relaxed.
That sounds challenging.
The first couple of days felt strange. I kept thinking I needed to check something.
I know that feeling.
Then I realized most of the things I wanted to check weren't important at all.
That's such an interesting realization.
Instead, I read a few pages of a book. Sometimes I listened to music. Sometimes I just sat quietly.
And how did you feel afterward?
More relaxed. My mind felt less busy.
That's one of the things people don't always talk about. Healthy habits aren't only about physical health.
Exactly. They can affect your mood, your energy, and even how you handle stress.
Here's a short story that happened to me recently. I was having a very stressful week.
One of those weeks where everything feels busy?
Exactly. I had deadlines, meetings, and a long list of things to do.
That sounds exhausting.
By Friday, I felt completely drained. So instead of filling my weekend with more activities, I decided to slow down.
What did you do?
Nothing complicated. I went for a walk, made a simple meal, and spent some time outside.
Sometimes simple is best.
It really is. By Sunday evening, I felt much better, not because I did something amazing, but because I gave myself time to recharge.
I think that's a habit many people forget about.
Taking time to rest?
Exactly. Rest can be just as important as being productive.
And healthy habits often work best when they fit naturally into your life instead of making life feel harder.
Let's start with something simple. When people talk about healthy habits, there are a few words and expressions that come up very often.
Yeah, and these are words you'll hear in everyday conversations, not just in health articles or fitness videos.
One common phrase is stay active.
When someone says they try to stay active, they mean they keep their body moving regularly.
That doesn't necessarily mean going to the gym every day.
Exactly. It could mean walking, taking the stairs, riding a bike, or simply moving around more during the day.
Here's a small situation. A friend asks, "Do you exercise often?"
You might answer, I don't go to the gym much, but I try to stay active.
That's a very natural response.
Another useful phrase is get enough sleep,
You'll hear people say things like, "I've been trying to get enough sleep lately."
or I didn't get enough sleep last night.
Sleep is one of those topics that almost everyone can relate to.
Definitely. Most people know what it feels like to wake up tired after a short night.
Another common expression is drink more water.
Simple words, but something people talk about all the time.
You might hear someone say, "I'm trying to drink more water during the day."
Or I keep forgetting to drink water when I'm busy.
That's a sentence I could honestly use myself.
Same here.
Let's look at another useful expression. Eat a balanced diet.
This means eating different kinds of foods instead of only one type.
You don't have to explain it perfectly. In conversation, people often say things like, "I'm trying to eat more balanced meals."
Or I've been eating a little healthier recently.
Both sound very natural.
Here's another small situation. Someone asks how you're feeling lately.
You could say, "I've been sleeping better and eating healthier, so I have more energy."
That's the kind of sentence native speakers use all the time.
Now let's talk about a phrase that has become very common in recent years, screen time.
Screen time refers to the amount of time you spend looking at phones, tablets, computers, or televisions.
Many people say things like, "I'm trying to reduce my screen time."
Or I spend too much time on my phone.
That's a phrase you'll hear very often.
Another useful expression is take a break.
A break can be short or long.
For example, after working for several hours, you might say, I need to take a break.
Or, "I took a short break and went for a walk."
That sounds simple, but it's very useful English.
Let's talk about another expression, wind down.
This means relaxing and becoming calmer, especially in the evening.
You might hear someone say, "I like to read before bed because it helps me wind down."
Or, I usually listen to music when I'm winding down after work.
Here's one more small situation. Imagine you've had a busy day.
A friend asks, what are you doing tonight?
You could say, "Nothing special. I'm just going to relax and wind down."
That sounds very natural and conversational.
One final phrase that people use a lot is healthy routine.
A routine is something you do regularly.
For example, someone might say, "I'm trying to build a healthier routine."
Or, it took time, but my new routine is starting to feel normal.
And that's really what healthy habits are about.
Not doing everything perfectly, but creating routines that fit naturally into your everyday life.
Exactly. And once these words become familiar, it's much easier to talk about your own experiences and habits in English.
Speaking of experiences, let's imagine some real conversations where people talk about these habits in everyday situations.
Here's something a lot of people experience. You start a healthy habit with a lot of motivation, and then life gets busy.
That's so true. The beginning is usually easy. The challenge comes a few weeks later.
Let's imagine we're catching up after not seeing each other for a while.
Sounds good.
"Hey Emma, how have you been lately?"
Pretty good, actually. I've been trying to take better care of myself these past few months.
"Really? What kind of changes have you made?"
Nothing huge. I've been walking more and trying to get enough sleep.
"That's great. Has it been difficult?"
At first, yes, especially the sleep part. I used to stay up late almost every night.
What changed?
One evening, I realized I was tired almost every day. I wasn't getting enough rest, and it was affecting my mood.
I know that feeling.
So I started going to bed a little earlier, not 2 hours earlier, just 20 or 30 minutes.
That sounds more realistic.
Exactly. Small changes felt easier to maintain.
I've noticed something similar with walking.
How so?
When I tell myself I need to walk for an hour, I sometimes skip it completely.
That makes sense.
But when I tell myself to walk for 15 or 20 minutes, it feels manageable.
And sometimes those short walks become longer walks.
Exactly.
Here's a situation that happened to me last week. I planned to go for a walk after dinner.
Okay.
Then I sat down on the couch for just 5 minutes.
Uh-oh.
You already know where this is going.
I think I do.
Those 5 minutes turned into almost an hour.
That's one of the fastest hours in the world.
It really is.
Did you still go for the walk?
I almost didn't. But then I thought, even 10 minutes is better than nothing.
That's a great mindset.
So I went outside for a short walk. It wasn't long, but I felt happy that I did it.
I think that's important. People sometimes think a habit only counts if it's perfect.
Exactly. But consistency is usually more important than perfection.
Let's talk about another habit, drinking enough water.
That's one I've improved a lot.
What helped?
Keeping a bottle of water nearby.
Simple but effective.
Before that, I would get busy and completely forget about it.
Same here.
Now, when I see the bottle, it reminds me to take a few sips.
It's funny how small things can make such a difference.
Definitely.
I was also trying to spend less time on my phone recently.
How's that going?
Some days are better than others.
That's honest.
One evening, I picked up my phone to check the weather.
That sounds harmless.
It was supposed to be harmless.
What happened?
25 minutes later, I was watching videos about things I wasn't even interested in.
That's surprisingly easy to do.
It really is.
I've had similar moments.
So now I try putting my phone farther away when I'm relaxing.
Has that helped?
A lot. If the phone isn't right next to me, I'm less likely to pick it up.
That's actually a smart strategy.
Another thing I've been doing is reading before bed.
I like that habit.
Even if I only read a few pages, it helps me slow down.
That's how I feel about making tea in the evening.
Really?
Yeah, it's not really about the tea. It's more about taking a few quiet minutes for myself.
I love that idea.
After a busy day, those small moments can feel surprisingly important.
Absolutely.
You know, when people hear the phrase healthy habits, they sometimes imagine difficult routines.
That's true.
But many healthy habits are actually simple. Walking a little more, sleeping a little better, drinking more water, taking time to relax.
And those habits don't have to be perfect to be valuable.
Exactly. The goal isn't to create a perfect life.
It's to make small choices that help you feel a little better day by day.
And over time, those small choices can become a natural part of who you are.
That's a great way to think about it. Let's spend some time with useful phrases that people often use when talking about healthy habits. These are natural expressions that come up in everyday conversations.
Yeah, and the nice thing is that many of them are simple. You don't need advanced English to talk about your lifestyle.
A very common phrase is, "I've been trying to."
You'll hear people say things like, "I've been trying to drink more water."
Or, "I've been trying to get to bed earlier."
This phrase is useful because it sounds honest. It shows you're making an effort, even if you're not perfect.
Exactly. Most people aren't looking for perfection. They're talking about progress.
Another useful expression is, "I'm working on it."
For example, someone might ask, "Are you exercising regularly now?"
And you could answer, "I'm working on it."
Short, simple, and very natural.
Here's another phrase I use a lot. "I'm trying to be more consistent."
That's a great one.
Maybe you're already doing something healthy sometimes, but you want to do it more regularly.
Like walking 3 times a week instead of once every few weeks.
Exactly.
Let's imagine a small situation. A friend asks how your new habit is going.
You could say, "It's going pretty well. I'm trying to be more consistent."
That's something native speakers say all the time.
Another common expression is, "I feel better when I,"
For example, "I feel better when I get enough sleep."
or "I feel better when I take a walk after work."
This is a useful way to talk about your personal experience.
And it sounds much more natural than giving advice to other people.
That's an important difference.
Here's another phrase I use a lot. "I've gotten into the habit of,"
For example, "I've gotten into the habit of carrying a water bottle."
or "I've gotten into the habit of turning off my phone before bed."
This means the action has become a regular part of your routine.
Let's look at another small situation.
Okay.
A coworker notices that you're taking a short walk during lunch.
They ask, "Do you do that every day?"
You could answer, "Yeah, I've gotten into the habit of taking a walk during my lunch break."
That's a very natural response.
Another useful phrase is, "It makes a big difference."
I like that one because people often use it when talking about small changes.
For example, getting an extra 30 minutes of sleep makes a big difference.
Or taking short breaks during the day makes a big difference.
You don't need to explain everything. That phrase says a lot by itself.
Here's another expression you'll hear often. I fell out of the habit.
That's a really useful one.
Maybe you used to do something regularly, but then you stopped.
You might say, "I fell out of the habit of going for evening walks."
Or I fell out of the habit of bringing lunch to work.
The nice thing about this phrase is that it sounds realistic.
Because life happens.
Exactly. Sometimes routines change, and that's normal.
One more expression I hear all the time is, I'm getting back into it.
That's often used after taking a break from a habit.
For example, I stopped exercising for a while, but I'm getting back into it.
Or, "I haven't been sleeping well lately, but I'm getting back into a better routine."
That phrase feels encouraging.
It does. It focuses on moving forward instead of feeling guilty.
And honestly, that's how most healthy habits work.
Nobody follows a perfect routine every day.
The important thing is continuing, even after setbacks.
Exactly. Small improvements over time are usually more powerful than short periods of perfection.
And these phrases make it much easier to talk about those experiences naturally in English.
They really do. They're simple, practical, and useful in real conversations about everyday life.
Before we finish today, let's talk about a few simple ideas that can help healthy habits feel more natural.
Yeah, because sometimes the hardest part isn't knowing what to do, it's actually doing it consistently.
That's true. Most people already know that walking, sleeping well, drinking water, and taking breaks are good habits.
The challenge is fitting those habits into real life.
Exactly. Life gets busy, schedules change. Some days go smoothly and some days don't.
And that's okay.
Exactly. One thing I've learned is that healthy habits work better when they're simple.
I agree. If a habit feels too difficult, it's harder to maintain.
For example, if you don't have time for a long walk, maybe you take a short walk instead.
Or if you're having a busy day, maybe you just take a few minutes to stretch and relax.
Small actions still count.
They really do.
Here's a situation many people experience. You miss a few days of a healthy routine.
Maybe you stop exercising for a week, or you stay up late several nights in a row.
It's easy to feel frustrated.
But instead of thinking, "I failed," you can simply start again.
That's such a helpful mindset.
Healthy habits aren't about being perfect every day.
They're about returning to good habits when life gets in the way.
Exactly.
Another thing that helps is paying attention to how you feel.
What do you mean?
Sometimes we focus so much on results that we forget to notice the small benefits.
That's true.
Maybe you feel calmer after a walk.
Maybe you have more energy after getting enough sleep.
Or maybe your mind feels clearer after spending less time on your phone.
Those little improvements can be very motivating.
Definitely. They remind you why the habit matters.
Here's another small situation. Imagine you've had a stressful day.
Okay?
You come home feeling tired and overwhelmed.
Instead of immediately jumping into more work, you decide to slow down for a few minutes.
Maybe you make a cup of tea.
Maybe you sit outside for a little while.
Or maybe you just enjoy a quiet moment without looking at a screen.
Those moments may seem small, but they can make a big difference.
Absolutely. Before we go today, we have a question for you.
What's one healthy habit you're trying to build right now?
Maybe you're trying to walk more.
Maybe you're trying to drink more water.
Or maybe you're working on getting better sleep and spending less time on your phone.
Whatever it is, we'd love to hear about it.
And if you'd like, you can write your answers in English in the comments.
That's a great way to practice and connect with other learners.
Even a short comment is great practice.
And remember, every small step counts.
You don't need a perfect routine to make progress.
Just keep showing up one day at a time.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today.
We hope you enjoyed this conversation and learned some useful English along the way.
Take care of yourself, keep practicing, and keep building those healthy habits.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.
See you next time. Bye, everyone.